Financial advisors love to sell the idea of a guaranteed paycheck, especially when it comes to annuities. On the surface, it sounds like financial security, predictable income, protection from market volatility, and a retirement plan that removes uncertainty. But underneath that simplicity is a much more complex structure that many investors don't fully understand until years later. The reality is that annuities are not inherently good or bad. They are financial instruments with very specific trade-offs. The problem is how they are often presented as a low-risk solution that eliminates worry, when in fact they can introduce new layers of cost, restriction, and long-term inflexibility. Before you commit to a contract that may last decades, it is critical to understand where your money actually goes, how fees are structured, and what control you are giving up in exchange for that guaranteed income. Because once the money is locked in, the rules change and getting out is often expensive. This breakdown is not about fear, it's about clarity. We are going to separate marketing language from financial mechanics so you can understand what an annuity really is doing behind the scenes. At their core, annuities are contracts between you and an insurance company. You provide a lump sum or a series of payments, and in return, the insurer promises to pay you back over time, either immediately or in the future, often for life. The key detail most people miss is that your money is no longer fully yours in the traditional sense once it enters the contract. It is pooled with other policyholders, funds, and managed by the insurance company, which then uses actuarial assumptions, bond investments, and internal models to generate returns and ensure payout obligations. This structure is where the concept of guarantee comes from, but it is not magic. It is math based on life expectancy, interest rate assumptions, and risk pooling. The insurer is betting that not everyone will live long enough to extract the full theoretical value of their contract. That is why annuities can work well as longevity insurance, but they are not designed for liquidity or flexibility. Understanding this structure is essential before evaluating whether the product aligns with your financial goals. One of the most misunderstood aspects of annuities is the fee structure. While they are often marketed as simple, many products include multiple layers of cost that are not immediately obvious. These can include administrative fees, mortality and expense risk charges, rider fees, and surrender penalties for early withdrawal. Each layer reduces the effective return on your capital. Even if the underlying investment performs reasonably well, these fees can significantly compress net gains over time. The impact is not always visible in annual statements, which is why many investors underestimate the long-term drag on performance. Surrender charges are particularly important. Many annuities impose strict timelines where withdrawing your money early triggers substantial penalties. This can last 5, 7, or even 10+ years depending on the contract. In practice, this means your liquidity is restricted far longer than most people anticipate at the point of sale. When evaluating annuities, it is not enough to ask, what is the return? You must also ask, what is the net return after every layer of cost, and what restrictions apply to my access? Annuities are often framed as safe, but safety in finance is never absoluted. It's always a trade-off between risk types. With annuities, you are typically exchanging market volatility risk for liquidity risk, inflation risk, and opportunity cost. Yes, your income may be more predictable, but your purchasing power can still erode over time if payouts do not adjust for inflation. This means that what feels like stability today may not maintain the same real-world value in 10 or 20 years. There is also opportunity cost. Capital locked into an annuity is capital that cannot be reallocated into higher performing or more flexible investments. In strong market cycles, this can result in significant underperformance compared to diversified portfolios. The security narrative often emphasizes emotional comfort, but financial planning requires analyzing total risk exposure, not just volatility reduction. A stable income stream is valuable, but only if it aligns with your broader financial strategy and time horizon. Despite their drawbacks, annuities are not universally choices. They can be useful in specific scenarios, particularly for individuals who are highly risk or underprepared for retirement. or seeking guaranteed lifetime income to cover essential expenses. They may also serve a role in portfolio construction when used as a small allocation rather than a primary strategy. In this context, they function as longevity insurance, helping reduce the risk of outliving assets. However, problems arise when annuities are positioned as a default retirement solution or when buyers do not fully understand the restrictions they are accepting. The decision should always be based on a clear analysis of liquidity needs, inflation expectations, fees, and alternative investment options. The most important takeaway is this: guaranteed income is not free. It's purchased through trade-offs. The question is whether those trade-offs are worth it for your specific financial situation. If this helped, like and subscribe to the Daily Yield, because we are making real financial progress, one step at a time.